for GQTV. If you're in the chat, we appreciate it. Dreadpool, I know we're late. You can blame me because I switched it to Rumble Studio tonight and we had some camera hiccups. For some reason, Majestic Mayhem gets it right every time, except for, I can't even get it right. It's crazy. So anyway, I'm here with Paul, the usual straggler.
The bull crap usual straggler.
Say hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
And then we have Ham. Ham, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Just chilling, kicking it, ready to get chatting.
Well, so I mean, there's some stuff going on. We got San Diego Comic-Con coming up. It's a pretty big event. There's a lot of stuff dropping. Paul did some coverage with Gundam and did a Karate Kid review. I also found out just today they're doing a Toxic Avengers screening there, but all the tickets were already taken up. So that's crazy. But they are doing a Hall H panel.
See, you should have taken me. I come with my own chair. I've been known to go into those screenings because I have my own chair.
Wow. And then, there's some gaming stuff going on as well. Paul mentioned that we got the Assassin's Creed thing with Netflix. And I'm pulling up our little chat here so I can remember too. But, let's start it off with something that's really small, right? Multiple new IPs for Lollipop Chainsaw in the works. This game was classic on the 360. The remake didn't fare as well as what people remembered, apparently. But
I enjoyed it because I had never played the original. I enjoyed the hell out of the remake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ham, did you ever play the original or the remake?
No, I never really got into those.
Okay. Any thoughts on them trying to make some IPs out of this or an anime adaptation?
This sounds terrible, but good luck.
Wow.
I don't care about it. like it's not something I can advocate for because I just never cared about the Lollipop Chainsaws. But my buddy Loke liked it a little bit, but I mean, it was a little bit. And I know they've had news on him recently, and he hasn't.
Do you know what?
Lot.
So I'll just give you a real quick thing. What really put this game on the map, number one, was the cheerleader with the chainsaw. And then if you remember the famous cosplayer, she's famous now, well known, Jessica Negri, she did the whole cosplay outfit when the game launched, and it just blew up because of her cosplay. It just got recorded everywhere in social media. And
it's a popular thing to have somebody look good in a weird situation.
Yep.
But I don't know, it's kind of I mean, I said it last time we were doing the podcast, sometimes remakes and stuff like that, people just, it's a shoulder shrug for some. Sometimes that's how it comes back. So hopefully if they're going to continue to stick to it and continue to make stuff that they kind of tailor it for what the people want instead of what they historically liked, because that's kind of what people are looking for, it's cool if you bring back something or whatnot, but does it fit today? And do you have a good enough history for it to to reel people into what you want to do, or are you gonna have to tailor things what they want?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up some valid points here. Paul, before I get to you, one thing I do want to say, though, is that I think, I honestly feel like if they did an anime of this and they got some sort of agreement with Sony for Crunchyroll, I think it kind of would take off. I think a Crunchyroll launch of the anime would take off, internationally and in the US. And then from there, of course, they could subsidize that anime onto other channels, whether it be like HBO Max or HBO now it's called again, or Netflix or like Amazon. I think there's a potential market there. and I think they're really trying to introduce it to new people or younger people because the IP was so hot at one time, and not only in video game form but in pop culture form with cosplay, that they probably feel like they could take this franchise and maybe make a few more million off it. Paul, what do you think?
I think so too. And by the way, just to clear something up, it was not a remake; it was a remaster. It was called the Repop Edition, where they did the additional content they had done for the previous game as well as the original, with the cleaned up,
Uh,
more updated graphics and stuff.
okay, I mean that's my bad then, but to me it looked poor on screen to me, but I didn't get a hands on with it, if that makes sense.
What do you mean it looked what on screen?
It didn't look as good as I remembered it.
Well, well, I mean, dude, probably looked worse than that when you first saw it. Given that when you first saw it, it was older graphics, more pixelated and stuff. But but
Yeah.
I did play it and I did quite well with it. Some of it's really difficult to do, but it's still a lot of fun. I mean, what's not fun about being somebody running around with a chainsaw hacking heads off zombies and stuff like that? It's I enjoyed it, and like you said, if they can get into the anime thing and actually tell a story and have it catch on, I could see this game picking up steam again. So because it is a fun IP. It's just a silly IP. It's so yeah, and like you said, if they could latch on to like Crunchyroll or something, yeah, I could see it doing very well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's something that we have yet to see. I think if they push it though, convention wise, I think this will become a phenomenon again. Like, I still see cosplayers dressed as what's her name, Juliet. Was that her name in the
I don't
thing?
remember, yeah, but
I
yeah,
think I think I still see cosplayers all the time dressed as her with like holding the head in their hands and then fake chainsaws or lollipops, and they always do the peace sign. And I mean there's just so many, and you know what, those cosplays take off, people still love it.
yep. Anything else?
And no, I think that's pretty much it. Ham already
Yep.
said how he felt about it. But Ham, hopefully, if it does make the rounds again, you kind of give it a shot and see what you think, and then maybe you'll make a good anime. I don't know if you're into anime.
Oh yeah, anime is pretty dope. I mean, maybe if they got into anime, it would maybe pull me in further, but I'm sure that's a scary thing for a business to do. To like, oh, this isn't going the best. Let's further invest into it. Like, I mean, that's why I'm kind of like, good luck, because
Well,
this
what's
is
interesting
this
is
is an uphill battle. Like,
there may not be
no way to another way to look at it. It's uphill battle.
Yeah.
where there may not be a North America audience. Who's to say there's not an audience in the Asian side, the Asian market, where a lot of that stuff does play bigger than it does here.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
not.
mean,
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like. I'm just saying. Most times when you ask investors, "Hey, this isn't working out. Can we further invest into it?" It's not usually the easiest conversations to have.
yeah. Well, we're gonna switch topics in a hard way because I got no way to introduce this one in a nice way. But so Call of Duty, and I don't think it's going to matter much. They want to, request your age. I think it, I remember them talking about Call of Duty a long time ago and saying, "Oh yeah, we check IDs at GameStop," and when the whole thing about GTA and Call of Duty was a big thing. Oh, we check IDs. We don't let kids buy it. All that kind of stuff. So obviously that didn't work out because now they want to put an age requirement in Call of Duty. But I don't see how this is really going to stop determining kids from playing the game.
It's not. It's the same like when you go to YouTube channel and it says this is for mature audiences. What's your birthday? Yeah. Let me tell the truth there. Yeah. I usually go like, whatever 2000, because then at least I'm 25 years old, right? Okay, I'm good. Yeah. Because I don't want them collecting. Okay, no, we actually need to see a picture of your photo ID. No, you don't. No, please don't do that. I'm not going to give some nebulous. I don't care who it is. I'm not going to give you my ID information just so you can prove that I'm an adult. I'll send you my picture and go, look at this gray hair. I'm not 12, but I'm not going to actually give you access to my legal ID information.
Well, World of Warcraft, when you forget, a while ago when you used to forget your passwords, and you couldn't log back in, you had an authenticator and you couldn't figure out how to do it, they would request your driver's license.
Yep, and Facebook will at times too. If they don't think you're the person you claim you are, Facebook will say we won't let you back in the system without an ID. So.
Ham, do you think this will stop determined kids?
No. and a ton of kids and their parent and a bunch of parents will help them.
Yeah.
This is a waste of time.
Yep.
Waste of an idea that somebody had.
Yep.
Somewhere I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead.
I was going to say, and if you don't want your kids playing, if they don't want kids playing this game, stop putting like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the damn game. Stop putting characters that are a draw for kids to want to go play. It's just.
Oh yeah, they did just add Beavis and Butthead too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Beavis and Butthead's more adult though, and it was more kind of like supposed to be for like teenagers
to be,
and stuff like that. Like sure, but
yeah.
I mean, like I was trying to say just a moment ago, like this is just more or less some weird, probably regulatory type of thing saying, oh, there's too much violence in something like this, and this is their answer to that to that regulation. And it's just like I want to be like, Microsoft, you're stupid, but I know that they're just like appealing to the regulation because nobody wants to go out of their way to do it. So it's so it's just kind of like, why are we doing this? This is just another speed bump.
Yep.
For no reason. This is like a speed bump on the highway, kind of. This is another one of those situations where it's just like, take care of your kids. That's all that needs to be done here. You can even let them play the game.
Yep.
Take care of your kids. Like if you monitor them and tell them what's good and what's not, there you go.
So you're right. Probably what Microsoft's you're right. Probably what Microsoft's going to do is they're going to put all this stuff in place, and then they're going to only half-ass support it because they'll be like, well, in the sense that they aren't going to enforce anything. Then when the government regulators and then all
they shouldn't have to. It's not their problem.
No, I know
it's
that.
Not their problem. When you go buy when you go buy a used game, nobody cares if you're 5 or 50. Nobody cares. This is just another dumb step that does nothing for nobody. Microsoft doesn't care about protecting you. They just want your money and or information. And these in these entities or whatever that are asking, or regulation people that are asking you to do this, they don't even really have any sort of like what's the reward for doing this? There's nothing that comes out of other than them being able to say, we made the internet safer when you didn't.
It's basically
putting a Band-Aid on a wall, man. It's putting a Band-Aid on a wall. It's not doing anything.
It's what they call feel-good legislation. It's all it is, and we have a lot of laws and guidelines that are there for that purpose. It's to make one small group of a segment of the society feel like, well, we're trying to do something, you know, but not only is there's no positive to it, but there's also there's no bite to any. There's no enforcement. There's no bite. What are you going to do if some 12-year-old gets to play Call of Duty? They ain't going to do anything. There's nothing they can do, you know. We're going to give you a slap on the wrist. Okay, you're going to be, banned for a week, because they're not going to keep them banned. They want that money that those kids are pulling in through their parents' credit card, and like I said, they have no reason to. Why now? Why are we rolling back to video games are bad, violent games are bad? We did that 30 years ago. It didn't make a difference then. It's not going to make a difference now.
Yeah, you bring up a point 35 years ago when they tried going after Mortal Kombat and all that legislation and waste of what was it, committee hearings on that.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't even stop kids from going in the arcade, putting quarters in, because the people that worked at the arcades didn't really care to really make sure that they were of appropriate age to play a violent game. Same thing that goes when you go to buy a game in a store, and digitally when you buy a game as well. On a storefront, the storefronts only see a credit card and a name. They don't necessarily see your age, and a lot of people online don't put their real ages these days. So kids are going to get away with it. And like Ham said, there's a lot of parents out there that are probably like, "Oh, don't bother me right now. I'm busy. Just go play Call of Duty." "Oh, mommy, I need you to say my age." And they probably would, just to keep the kids out of the
they do
kitchen or
all
whatever.
all the time. Yeah. It's a silly thing. And it's funny because even the Microsoft Store sometimes you'll go to look at a game and it'll say, verify you're over 18, click yes or no. No, I'm going to click no. Okay, so I get shut out of there. So like I said, they half-ass it. They do the minimum they have to do because they know it's silly too.
Yep. Well, speaking of age stuff, this one's a little concerning. At least I think so anyway. That Roblox has announced a new range of safety features directed at teenagers, specifically 13 to 17, that will use AI technology to guess a user's age based on a video selfie they submit. And I don't know about you, but if if I had a child at that age right now, I would not want them submitting a video selfie to a company.
No.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's not happening.
that's weird to me, man. Like,
That's just not happening.
Nope.
how do we know how that data is handled? Where is it going? Who's keeping it? Is it training other AI systems? I mean, think about all those things, and you're putting in child's faces.
Yeah. Not only that, I've not only I've worked at a lot of schools for a lot of years. You have kids on both sides of that spectrum. You have 17-year-olds that look like they're 14, and you've got 13-year-olds that already have facial hair and look like they're old enough to drive. Okay, I mean, so I mean that's a faulty system to go by. We're going to guesstimate your age by how you look. No. It's I mean, because if you get caught up in that mess, can you imagine trying to prove you're not? Because then you have to give them more information. What do you want to see? My birth certificate? Yes. No. No. Yeah. We want to verify with your grandmother. What's your mother's maiden name? No. So yeah,
So
that's a weird group to want to protect though on Roblox. I would think they'd be more worried about the old men that are trying to talk to the little kids.
well, see, I was in the article from IGN. It actually brings that up about some of the exploitation that happens on that platform, and how
Oh,
how weird people try to connect with kids on there, and they're using
yeah.
that as an excuse to do this AI video date range kind of thing to see how old they are. And then they also cite, well, Google's doing it now and Meta's doing it. Yeah, but for what platforms? Are they asking all kids? I don't think they're asking all kids to do this, okay? But doing it in a kids game like Roblox is so weird to me. I really hope they get enough feedback to take this out. because the other thing on top of it is if parents already have trust issues with Roblox, then they probably have trust issues about the employees at Roblox or like other things, and they're going to be even more concerned about who is seeing their child's selfie.
Sorry, what?
Like they would be more concerned about who's even seeing their child's selfie once it's
Yeah.
uploaded.
Yeah, what are they
Like,
going to do with that? Are they going to make like a collage and put it on the wall? What are they going to?
I don't think there's anything good you can do with that
No.
information. There's like yeah, I don't like actual regular grown up adults standing at a door checking IDs can't get it done right in person. You're expecting me to believe that this AI thing is just checking that. And then when they're done with that information, it's in
Yeah,
we
that's
know
the
that's
other
not
issue. Yeah, that's the other
when we
issue.
know that that's not how the internet works.
Yeah.
So it's just like on something more important, maybe. But this is so unimportant that it's insult.
Yeah. Imagine having to.
Actually, let me speak to Farrell in the chat real quick. Let me just say that a lot of people still play Roblox. Actually, still has a pretty big audience. Now, me,
Yeah,
I've never loaded the game up once, but a lot of people play that game. Still draws the numbers.
I let my daughter play the game, but if they're requiring stuff like that, then it's just not. And but she plays it on Xbox. I don't have a camera on.
Right.
It's like if they start to request that, then bye game. There's plenty of other things to play, and as of recently, she kind of shifted her energy to Minecraft. I'm kind of happy. So,
Yeah,
all of her cousins play that.
Minecraft seems to be a lot more stable as far as a platform for kids, and it's not as open as Roblox is. I mean, there are people on there, yeah, but it's just a community feels different on Minecraft.
Yeah, Roblox is like a playground on a highly inappropriately populated part of town.
Yeah, Roblox has always skewed to a much younger audience for the most part.
Younger and younger minded.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are some pretty, like, not to just sit here and knock Roblox, because they actually have some pretty
Yeah.
stuff like that some pretty insane stuff. I remember seeing like Call of Duty type of stuff on there that people tried to make up, and some of that stuff is really cool. Some of the, like, get from one place to another place, those things are tough, but they're fun and they're kind of hard. So I'm not sitting here just like knocking them, but I'm just saying, like, as for kids and things that people shouldn't take advantage of, Roblox is one of the scariest games out.
Yeah, I have to agree. And, this also sets a dangerous precedent for other games doing this in the future or other apps doing this that are geared towards kids. And then we're going to see a whole bunch of problems leak out, because like I said, like my biggest concern as somebody who thinks about security is where are these videos stored, right? And if somebody accessed those videos, then they would have some metadata information that the app uploaded with those videos and possibly know addresses and names or things like that if that ever happened. And that's even more scary
Yeah.
than
Because
anything else.
most people don't know how to bury their metadata. Like I do. I can send you stuff where you'd never know where the hell it came from. But the average user does not know how to do that, how to scrub the metadata or how to make it look like you're not where you really are, type of thing.
Yeah.
I turn all that crap off on the photos I take and stuff because I know where I took it and I'm the only one who needs to know. Yeah.
Dreadpool says Tiny Giant plays it.
Yeah. He also said he wants to buy me a pizza. What's my address? I told him to talk to you. I said you have my address. So
I don't remember it, so you gotta send it to him.
oh, you do. You're so full of shit. Yeah.
No, I gotta find it. It's in there somewhere. But speaking of, I want to move into something else too, because I think this is a big concern that we're heading towards, right? So, it might open up a can of worms here when I say it this way, but I kind of want to focus on the topic. But I'm just going to say this, that we're in a present state of technology where big tech wants to get rid of the DMCA, and companies that are using AI, even big IPs, big corporations, are uploading massive amounts of their IPs to AI databases. And all these companies on the back end want to get rid of the DMCA, right? However, we have an Italian YouTuber who was threatened with jail time because he got a hold of some retro handhelds and some came with a couple of games from China. And instead of just a nice knock on the door, he was raided by the Italian militarized police. And now he's facing up to, I think, 150,000 euro fine and 3 years in jail just because one of the knockoff retro handhelds happened to come with a few games and he was making videos on it. And, he's not 100% sure why they happen to knock on his door, but he is a big enough YouTuber in Italy that other people know of him. And he said that he believes in one of the articles, and I'm paraphrasing it, but the finance minister who regulates the copyright law or enforces it saw the video and just personally felt like having his house raided.
Oh, okay.
So I'm concerned because this is a slippery slope. According to the information, the two companies that signed off on the copyright complaints, of course, Nintendo is one, and Sony, right? They allegedly signed off on the copyright complaints so that the finance minister could get the Italian military police to raid this YouTuber's home. Now we're down a slippery slope here, okay? Because in China, they don't really care about copyright. So they sell a bunch of crap over AliExpress, over Temu, whatever it might be. And people are just going to buy it, like whether they realize what they're buying or not. Because somebody on TikTok or somewhere else says, hey, this great little handheld device is great for my kids. Great. Retro handhelds are kind of fun. The homebrew stuff on them are great. They're awesome. But if you happen to get a handheld that has Chinese manufacturers just throw a bunch of ROMs on there because they don't care about you after you buy their product and you have no idea what you're buying, this could open up that slope that people could get raided over $40 handhelds just because a Chinese company threw a Mario ROM on it or something. How do you guys feel about this? Because it worries me right now in the state that we're in.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more.
No.
Yeah, no, he didn't actually put a period on the end of that sentence. He just kind of let it hang there, right?
Period. Hard stop.
I mean, it's just scary regardless. I mean, it's just, again, this is just a video game, right? These are just video games. So just to like have your entire like world ruined over something like that seems pretty ridiculous. Like, I understand maybe sending somebody over there to like just let you know the gravity of the situation that you're putting yourself through. But to come in there all militarized and stuff, it's like, I don't think people are paying their tax dollars.
Yeah.
Like whichever, like I understand it was, Italy. This was happening, and that's just how we think about it here in America. It's like my tax dollars are going towards that, so it's just like, yeah, that's not how you want to see the money that you don't get paid. The rest of that gross amount that you don't get off of that, going towards hemming up people for enjoying games partially. I don't know. Like I just think that's over the top.
Yeah,
Is that period in the sentence? Is that uh, yeah, it's there was a time where I would have said I'd never happen here, but nowadays you never know. I get picked up because I have a $30 knockoff and I get sent to El Salvador. You know.
wow, Paul. No, I don't think they would
mm,
mistake you in that sense.
I don't know. They're not looking. They're looking for a lot of different excuses. But anyway, the pirating thing, the DMCA thing. Yeah, I know it's a balancing act, but I don't think it's worth that. They could have sent him a letter that said, "Hey, stop it," and then if you continue, then we'll take our next steps. Like we get here. I don't know how many because I've been known to download questionable stuff and you get a letter from the cable company says, "Hey, you downloaded this movie, or whatever, and that's copyrighted. You don't have the rights to do that. If you continue to do it, we will fine you, and you could get fined up to $5,000 or whatever it is nowadays, and things like that. But to actually go to the point of having these guys in military fatigues bang on your door, police! Oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? You have a stolen DVD, a copy. You have a copy of a movie. Holy shit! Really? No,
Well,
come on.
they
Yeah.
the picture they showed of the Italian military police, they had riot shields, SWAT like vests, and they had those big things that they use to break down doors. And
Oh, the knock knock. They had the knock knock.
they had the
Wow.
knock knock with them. Yeah.
Now,
So if he
whether
put
that was really the group that showed up at the guy's door or not. I mean, personally, if it was me that shows up at my door, I'm never pirating or stealing anything ever again. I don't. I'm gonna make sure that if I go to an office and I pick up a pen, that I put that shit back down. I'm like, nope, I'm out.
well, I think that's a little excessive. I think it's excessive because first off, the guilty party
Okay, I'm gonna
is
ask the chat. Is there anybody here who doesn't think that's excessive for a $30 knockoff handheld? What I'm saying?
oh, it's definitely excessive for 30. Yeah. No, but I'm saying though, like, it's when people buy some of these things, they really don't realize what's on it, right? Like they have no idea.
Right.
And the fact that he happened to get one with stuff on there and then he did show it on YouTube or whatever, okay. They, like you said, they could have sent a letter saying, listen, take that video down, delete that, or send that to us for evidence, blah, blah, whatever needed to happen. They didn't need to go to this extent. And on top of that, they're always going after the individual and not the Chinese company.
Right.
If you think about it, a country as big as Italy could essentially say, okay, we know which vendor's selling these and we'll stop it as they come in customs. And that would be problem solved. And the individuals will never have to be contacted except they're like, hey, you bought something that was knocked off. You can request your money back.
The other side of that is, or we'll double the tariffs and we'll get our take.
Maybe here, I don't know about Italy, but
no, Italy has tariffs too. They do that. They play the game. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I think that would be a more reasonable approach because the individual end users that play retro consoles are not violent thugs. They're not out there causing chaos in society.
You know what's funny is I can guarantee you if I were to go on the internet right now, I could go to like eBay and I can buy a system that's preloaded with thousands upon thousands of old video game ROMs that are not out of copyright, that are still protected information. Some of them new, because I know somebody who's done that previously.
Oh, yeah, no, I do not recommend doing that because that is a good way to get yourself in trouble. You know, there are problems like that
but
on
there
the
are a lot of
internet.
people that do it and they don't get in trouble. You know, there's a lot of those things out there. You know,
Well,
it's
that
like, and because instead of going after the person who buys that, if they really want it, they need to go after the people that are producing it. You know,
well, that's that Nintendo did do that when it came to the Team Executor with
yeah,
the Switch toggle for the first one. They actually tracked the guy down that was
right,
selling the modded systems online, and that's how they did catch him through eBay.
yeah, yeah. Nintendo.
So
I was gonna say when you said Nintendo signed off on it, I was like, they have a rubber stamp for shit like that. They just, okay, they're like click, okay, click. You know, they don't waste any time. You know, Nintendo is to video games what Disney is to movies and their IPs. You know, we got lawyers and we know how to use them. You know,
So speaking of Nintendo, you guys are aware that Nintendo's been trying to get the Legend of Zelda movie moving forward, and Miyamoto said that he's pleased to announce that for the live action film of the Legend of Zelda, Zelda will be played by Bo Bragason San and Link by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth San. I think San is probably more of a thing. I'm not sure exactly what San means there, but he put it on both their names. I think it's the Japanese custom to address last names. I might be wrong, but I see I see the Zelda. I think the Zelda princess looks spot on, but Link, I question Link. Have you guys?
does he not have enough goop in his hair to make it stand up at weird angles? Does he?
That's number one. Like he can get some gel advice from me. Yeah, no, it's no, yeah, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I see the Zelda. They've got a perfect pick for Zelda, but Link looks like a little bit of a Irish Robin Hood, and that's not a bad thing if you're going after
I was gonna say
Nottingham.
that's kind of like what Link has looked like in some of the stuff, though.
Did he?
Not necessarily the Irish part, but the Robin Hood part. You know, the
Did you happen to see this, Ham? Did you see what they look like?
Yeah, Zelda looks fine, and I think Link will be fine as long as he.
Think you cut out there for a second, Ham.
I said, I think Link would be fine if his hair was like more of a fair color.
Yeah,
But it's just like really dark in that picture, so it's hard to like see that. But I could see if he did something as simple as just bleached his hair or something like, no, maybe not bleached, but like you know what I mean, like
lightened it up. Yeah, lightened it up.
Lightened it up, made it a little bit more bright. He already, like, no disrespect, but he already has some like elfish features,
right?
So which is very Link looking. So
wait a minute, are you telling me that Link is an elf?
he looks like an elf. He looks like a damn elf sometimes.
No. Don't ruin my childhood image of Link being a hero.
That's not my problem.
Well, you're saying elves can't be heroes. You're saying, oh, you know, a Legolas gonna have a word with you. I'll tell you that right now.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, especially after they do makeup and stuff like that. You know.
Wait, Link needs makeup? Paul's getting frustrated.
Okay, I'm gonna have Paul Miotti smack you when you get to San Diego next week. Okay. I'm gonna message him, tell him when you see Carlo, just double up and just cold cock him one time. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Ham?
Oh, nothing.
Well, at least one thing we know is that Nintendo is not a big fan of AI, but Hollywood seems to be catching on to this AI craze. And, we've covered it multiple times. I've talked to multiple people, some with Paul and some on Twitter or X as they call it now, the cool kids call it. But they are all saying that AI is a big disruptor for Hollywood, whether you're on the side for AI or whether you're against AI. And it seems like that let me just go up here. Let's see, Natasha Leone, who I believe is also in oh wow, she's in that Peacock series right now. Apparently she's trying to start an AI company for Hollywood with two other people, and basically in her words, just to beep around. I don't know, man. Like you know, and I got into a discussion earlier on X with Mark Brooks, a Marvel artist, DC artist, and he drew this fantastic rogue with Gambit, and a fan took it and ran it into AI to animate it and sent it back to him, and he liked it, but he felt kind of off. Like he posted in his Zeet XEET that he just felt uncomfortable with it. And we had this kind of conversation real quick, not a long one. And I just said, listen, it's okay to think that it's cool looking, but also okay to feel uneasy about AI, because AI will take jobs. That is what it's set to do, whether you acknowledge it now or you feel it later. AI is out to get jobs. It's going to disrupt the industry, and it's probably going to take away more jobs than any other technological advancement when it comes to skilled labor, especially like arts, being creative, et cetera. Almost like probably how horse carriage drivers lost their job due to automobiles coming, right? Because a lot of people probably didn't want to ride horses, so they got the horse and buggy kind of things and paid somebody to ride them around, and they probably lost all their jobs, just like AI is going to do to a lot of creative people. And people in Hollywood are getting on this bandwagon of like, I don't want to be replaced, so I'm going to jump on it and make my own AI company, or I'm going to jump on it and be part of a project with AI.
Well, like somebody else, our friend Harrison Smith, we had that discussion with him, and he's using AI to create one of his smaller projects. The animated version of his book that tells his story growing up in the 80s. And he's posted a couple of samples of it, and he's using it as a tool to help get his creation done, which I think is the correct way to do it.
Well, in his case, he did say he doesn't like AI stealing other people's art, right. And for him, he uploaded his own art into the AI engine.
That's what I said. He's using it as a tool for his work. He's not having AI draw me a picture of what I would look like at age 15 and have it do this, that, and the other thing, and pulling it from other sources. He's actually hand drawing his own stuff, or I shouldn't say hand drawing. He's creating with other programs the basis of his own stuff.
But in this case, these people in Hollywood are like, no, we want this to replace special effects. We want this to replace writers. We want this to replace editors. We want this to replace actors and actresses in different scenes. You know what? Hey, we don't need stunt actors. We'll just have an AI stunt actor. Like,
well, that's why. Remember, that's why SAG-AFTRA. That's one of the things that was one of the tied up points of their strike, and one of the major tie up points of the video game actor strike, or the video game voice actor strike that just ended 2 weeks ago. Was them losing access to their own voices, basically. So it's, and we've talked about this a lot, and me, I'm not for it replacing jobs, but you're right. Just like the horse-drawn carriage guys got replaced, so did that. Remember, I don't know if some of you listening are not or watching are not old enough to remember. Used to be when you called the operator or you called 411 or whatever, you actually got a human. And as automation picked up and they learned how to automatically do the whole, you could listen to your voice and know what you wanted type of thing. All those humans, mostly female, they used to have those jobs. We're talking hundreds of thousands of workers across the country got phased out from the 70s to the 2000s, and now there are still some humans there, but trust me, it's only a small percentage of what there used to be. That was the end of the sentence. Do I have to put a period on the end of that for you? No kidding.
Oh no, you can keep going.
Oh.
So Ham, how do you feel about this? Because I don't think I've ever talked to you about you know, AI and your feelings on AI, and it's going to disrupt, I mean, even gaming too, and I know you comment on gaming a lot, so think of gaming, movies, TV, whatever. How do you feel about it?
I think there's room for it, but I think it should just be labeled as such. That simple.
Yeah, that is one of the things, especially like the script writers is if they use AI to work on their script, it has to state that in the work that they present, that AI was used in the producing of this information, this product. And I think they're only allowed to use a certain percentage too. I don't know the details on that though.
Yeah, so I mean, I personally don't have a problem with it because I feel like to tell somebody that, like, here's kind of like how I look at AI. I look at AI the same way I look at like any kind of like randomizer that you've ever before. So if you've ever played like a video game and then like hit randomizer and have a weird looking character or something like that. Like it's just, I mean, that's the way I look at it, right? Like it's just something that should just be labeled as such. Hey, this is AI. This is maybe its own subsection of, you know, of content that you could check
Yep.
out or get into and whatnot. You just keep it as simple as that, so people know either they're diving into something that is made by a bunch of people or just made by a few people. And I mean, I really don't think it's a big deal because how long has art itself been like subjective, right? Like some people like will buy a piece of art from somebody where they just took a paintbrush and like just touched they just touched the canvas with the paint, and like people will like run out and buy that, and we can't tell them that they're not buying art just because it came the person that brushed it was one of the most amazing people of all time. We can't tell that person that spent $254,000 on that ridiculous painting that what they bought isn't actually art. Like you have to just respect things for what they are and just let live.
And that's fine, but like you said, it must be identified as such. Like there's a big deal right now that some of the music and stuff showing up on YouTube and on Spotify and stuff is totally AI created. The bands do not exist. Yet there's some of and they weren't initially identified as AI, and their stuff, they got millions of listens and it's awesome and it's great. Come to find out that band with those pictures posting stuff on for their page, those people don't exist at all. It's kind of like it's the newer version of, I know none of you are old enough to probably know this, the Archies, who had a hit in like 1970 with Sugar Sugar from the cartoon show The Archies. They were a studio band. The Archies don't exist. They never did, but they ended up with a hit record. It's not like the Monkees, by the way. They were a real band, really played their instruments and were really, but So yeah, as long as they're I don't have a problem with stuff like that. As long as it's like you said, that AI produced this or produced a good chunk of this or whatever, fine. But as long as the other part of it is don't have AI produce the work by stealing other people's work. That's where the issue comes in too. Is you're going to see this beautiful picture, but if I can look at that picture, go, hey, that's that drawing there of Catwoman, that's one of Jimmy Palmiotti's old drawings, slightly altered. That's wrong because then Jimmy's not getting the credit he deserves.
Well, I'm looking at it from both perspectives, and I see it from an artistic perspective where, especially comic book artists are kind of getting ripped off in a sense of AI's training off their data. However, at the same time, as much as they're complaining, like the big companies like Marvel and Disney, they're feeding their stuff into AI. So they're taking that Todd McFarlane Spider-Man and throwing it into AI database.
but they're doing it because on the bottom, the companies like Marvel and DC, all they see is money. Oh, we don't have to pay artists anymore? Well, shit. Let's go there.
So they're doing it, yeah. And the other thing too is the other argument, and this is a tougher argument, but people are saying, okay, if I can look at a drawing, right, and then redraw it in my own interpretation, they're trying to argue that AI is no different than that person looking at another drawing and redrawing
kind of
to
thinking.
But AI doesn't have an interpretation. It's not a thinking.
Well, the person that is confirming is the interpreter. Yeah, I mean, it's no different than me going into Canva and whipping something up. I didn't draw that. I don't know how to draw that straight of a square. I didn't interpret that. I just confirmed that this works.
Right, but is it a square you took from somebody else's work, and you're not giving them credit? That when you're going to put that on, you're going to take credit that I did that.
If I made something that looks very similar to yours without using your actual stuff, I still created it.
But AI doesn't do that. AI draws off of what you did initially, and then maybe moves something. That doesn't make it theirs. That still makes it yours. They just
but I mean, you could say that to the same people. You could say that to Vanilla Ice.
And hold up. And he got sued. And he got sued and he lost.
Let me finish. There's a ton of music out right now where everybody are using each other's beats and making hella profits on it and calling it a mixtape. like this, as much as we want to argue this is bad, this has been going on way before AI is even started.
And there are guidelines for those mixtapes and using other people.
There are not guidelines for a lot of those things. There are not guidelines for a lot of those things. Like it was really popular in the South back in the day. It was massively popular in the South back in the day to make a mixtape and just sell it out of your trunk. And people made killings and became underground phenomenons off of that. And then finally, when they get seen by somebody, then they'll pay for a beat for them to be on that they can do completely legal. But but to me, this is no different than a lot of that other stuff where it feels like you're kind of walling somebody in a little bit on creativity.
Yeah.
But then you look across the street and you're like, well, they doing the same thing over there pretty much in just a different way. They just ain't using a computer.
And they were also in the back of their car. They weren't on the internet, with websites going, we got this. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Where the original guy could find their work and go, I'm going to come after your ass. Because that happened too.
But the law is the law, and getting caught is getting caught, right?
Well,
like Buns just tried to do it. They didn't get caught until The game was already almost released. Like, that's how big of a company that is. Think about all the little companies out there that people don't even see walk by.
I will say this. You're both right, and I'll explain how. So when I was interning for Atlantic Records, and this was before Kid Rock became controversial. This is when he was still doing his rap stuff with Devil Without a Cause and the Twisted Brown Trucker Band. I was an intern and I heard conversations at some of the concerts about mixtapes and beats. And they were talking about how back in the day, back like in the 70s and 60s and early 80s, you could go ahead and you can rip a beat and put it on your mixtape. And then you can take that beat and make something out of it and sell it as yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the copyright
Wu-Tang
lawyers
got mad famous off of doing that.
The copyright lawyers weren't after them back then. It wasn't until the DMCA came about the copyright lawyers started enforcing against the beats on the tracks and people paying license fees. So there's plenty of bands like I would go as far to say probably the Beastie Boys probably took samples, made stuff, and nobody ever realized it because they didn't really have that DMCA digital database for copyright lawyers to go after people. And some of these guys became so big by then that they had the money to, if they did get caught in a corner, oh, here you go, here's your license fee. Like, so you're both right in that aspect. It technically there are laws against it, but they weren't enforced for a long period of time.
And a lot of times they're only enforced when the original artist steps in and goes, hey, stop that, like Queen did with Vanilla Ice.
Metallica is one of the ones that are notorious for going after people. That was after Napster.
Yeah. And even he now says that going after Napster the way he did was probably not a good thing to do. But
but I forget what it's called. Okay, so it's called today. I was at Sunscreen Film Festival and they talked about this in the legal room with the lawyers when they had the panel, and they're music lawyers, and they said that in today's world, when you take a song or a sample, you have to pay one, the person who holds the master record, and two, the person who's the composer or writer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they said on average for a song that is semi well known, 50,000 a pop on each side, so $100,000 just for 6 seconds of music. That's how much it would technically cost to put 6 seconds of music in a commercial project from a professional that has the master and then a composer. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it and how all these people got away with it in the day. And now we see the surgence, like Paul was saying, of these AI music makers like UDO, and there's that one that begins with an S. I can't think of the name. And they are already making deals with Universal Music. And it seems like Universal Music and all these companies are going to feed their stuff into them. And then the end user will end up having to pay whatever license fee on a massive platform. It'll probably be a lot cheaper that way, but to mix it up, I mean, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on the AI topic?
No, but I do want to clear up that doing it and making money is different than, like, I'm allowed to use, like, I believe it used to be when I went through broadcasting school, 15 seconds of any piece of music or whatever without getting dinged, because it's fair use. You know, anything more than that, then it's like, you got to pay ASCAP, baby. You got to.
Nope. Actually, in a Google partner meeting that I was,
like I said, that was back in the early night.
That might have been back in the day, but today that's no longer the case. Even 3 seconds of use is still considered a violation of the DMCA. However, it's up to the owner of that to actually go after somebody.
Right.
So a lot of times they won't go after people, and that's on them. But they could.
Especially like YouTube shows that all the time too. I get dinged for some of the stuff that I do, and it goes, because you're not monetized, we really don't care. But you really should know that And like I've said before, my stuff doesn't get seen in Russia and Belarus. I'm heartbroken.
You shouldn't have sang their national anthem. They own the copyright to that.
I actually know somebody who got in trouble for that once, for singing the Canadian national anthem. Seriously, see, it happened a couple of years ago for one of the Xbox ambassadors. One of the guys on the channel in his chat started singing in his ear, started singing the Canadian national anthem, and he got DMCA'd on the video for it.
Wow.
Yeah, the Queen wasn't having it back then, man.
So, kind of going into the last two topics here. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer for Mortal Kombat 2. Did you guys watch that?
I haven't watched it. I was busy today doing content for you.
Wow, Paul.
No.
Okay, so we can skip. I didn't watch it either yet. I didn't have a chance, but
hey, did you guys watch it? Neither did I. Okay, next topic. Okay,
Paul, your job's to watch it. All right, thanks. So Netflix has greenlit the live action Assassin's Creed. Paul, thanks for sharing this. I didn't catch it, but you posted it in here. Yep. And to me, the Assassin's Creed movie was pretty bad that they made. I love Assassin's Creed. It's like one of my favorite franchises of recent video game history, all because of Assassin's Creed 3. But I did not like the movie. I like it felt boring. It didn't feel fluid enough for me, and that was my personal take. Some other people did like it.
Nobody liked the movie, dude. Nobody. I don't even.
There was a few.
I don't even think
liked
Michael Fassbender liked the movie, and he's in it. So.
There's a few people that liked it. But I saw our cosplay friend, Snarky J. She came out and said that she's really worried about this movie or this live action series because the movie was terrible. And she's afraid that they are going to take the IP and run it through a trash dumpster, basically. I'm paraphrasing that portion. But a fire trash dumpster that's selling down the river. She's afraid it's going to tear the franchise apart. Are you guys excited for this live action series? Are you gonna be gung ho about it, or is it more like wait and see if they do anything good with it?
Since it's a series, I'm hoping they can do something with it because this will allow them to expand on the Aspergo stuff and the modern day stuff, and kind of explain what all that is, which the movie absolutely failed to do. And explain what the technology is and why they're going back. It could be done well if they take their time and they do it right. But you're right. If they just take every title in the game, what is it, 8 or 9 titles at this point? Actually, more than that with the mini titles, and flush it through an AI and go write me a story. God knows what we're gonna get. That's so. I am cautiously optimistic.
Any thoughts on this?
Assassin's Creed live action. I'll tune in and check it out, but I'm not that excited.
Are you not an Assassin's Creed fan?
I don't mind Assassin's Creed as a video game. I just don't really. I like Assassin's Creed for how it plays and how fun it can be. I've never really, and maybe this is insane, I've never been a fan of the actual stories of Assassin's Creed. So back when they already came out with a movie for it and whatever, I was just like, whatever. I just didn't care about it. It's just not a world that makes me that interested, I guess. It's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like it reminds me of the Matrix, but with swords and stuff like that. And it's just not. Nah. I like more of the guns and stuff like that. So in a movie format, Assassin's Creed is not super appealing to me. But since it's a video game, I'm interested to see what they can put together. Because I mean, I could be dang surprised, right? Like I don't like Minecraft the game, but I thought I love that my daughter likes Minecraft though, because it's a pretty good safe game to play. But like I'm not even like I like survival games. I love doing Awakening, Ark, Survival Evolved, one for me back in the day. I mean, not so much anymore, but it was. So survival games are my jam. But like Minecraft to me was like, and, and then they announced they were coming out with a movie, and I was like, ugh, that sounds silly. Why would they do that? And then they came out with a movie, and I know my daughter loves it, so I took her to see the movie because I'm not an a-hole. So like when I went to go see the movie, I was like, oh, I actually enjoy this. This is funny. This is fun. This is lighthearted. This is easy for me to watch and not take too serious. And that's what I'm kind of worried about this Assassin's Creed. Is I'm gonna have to take it serious. And I'm not sure how serious I'll be able to.
Yeah, I am. With Assassin's Creed, I actually like at least the story that was introduced in the first few games. The whole idea of the Knights Templar, the whole idea of going back into basically your bloodline to go back and basically he wasn't not changing history, but he was tracking down where the puzzle pieces would be in the modern day, where the apple or whatever they called it initially was in the modern day, what happened to it, all that stuff. So again, if they tell this story correctly and they do it well, I could see it working. But if they don't do that, you know, to me, it's almost more like even though he's not changing history, it's almost more like a quantum leap thing. You're going to have somebody in modern day going back to a previous lifetime and seeing what's going on there, acting along with what's going on there. And I don't know if they ever made clear what happens when, I guess because he was just basically following along. So when he killed somebody back in 1752 Italy, it didn't change the timeline or anything because I guess that was supposed to happen, but this just allows him to be in eyes and control that vehicle to get that part of the job done, to find out where the apple of life, it's been so long since I played those games, was located, or to find out where the next step would be.
This reminds me of The Matrix mixed with National Treasure, brought to you by Nicolas Cage, and it's just I don't know, man.
I don't get the Matrix analogy though. I don't.
I'm just traveling like as yourself to another kind of period or to another realm. That's why I keep like referring it to that, because if we thought about Neo, he was a person, right? That chose to go one direction or the other. And when you look at Desmond, he's a person, but he goes through a process that puts him somewhere else. So that's why I keep using that Matrix. It is kind of similar in a way. They go, they lay down on something and they're gone. You know what I mean?
But Neo was always Neo, no matter whose body he was in, and he could change things in that world because that world did exist,
Sure.
And whereas Desmond never actually changes anything. I mean, if he did, you died and you had to start over again.
Sure. I mean, if we're looking really deeply at that, but like you get my reference, right?
The basic reference, yeah.
That's what I'm getting across.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be one for one because they're two totally different movies.
Okay. The other thing too is they could take this IP and do something really cool with it. They can add to the lore. It doesn't always have to follow directly on the game, and they can also use different sequences from Assassin's Creed. They could do back and forth, like with the Syndicate people, and then going back to Ezio. So they could do there's so many avenues that they could do. I just really hope they do it right, or maybe they give us a whole brand new character that.
Well, I was gonna say I think their best bet would be to do something in the world of Assassin's Creed, because we know that there were other groups out there trying to do what this group was trying to do. Don't make the mistake that The Last of Us 2 made, or Last of Us made, and give us a frame for frame repeat of the first game.
I would really.
I don't care that it's been 20 years since I played it. I don't want to watch it on a TV screen. You know.
I would love to see not just the Assassin's Creed characters, right? But I would like to see a series dedicated to the Templars too, and kind of like get more into their mindset of, you know, how some of those guys, according to the video game, they think they're doing the right thing by law and order, even no matter who they hurt, just because they want to stop chaos. Um, and it would be interesting to see like how the
Well, and
Templars
they could hopefully they could do that in the series by breaking away from just being Enzio or whoever, and telling that story. Okay, let's cut to see what these guys are talking about. Because do they figure out? Because we know the modern day guys are always after whoever's using the animus. You know, the modern day guys were after, in the first couple of games, they were after those guys who were hiding in an old cave, because they knew that old cave, somewhere in that old cave, was the end point. So they knew they had to figure out exactly where it was and how to get there and all that stuff. And so, yeah, they could tell that. Like I said, there's a lot of story for them to tell there if they do it right. You know, that's why I could see it working. If again, but like I said, don't just put it through the AI shredder and see what it spits out and go, okay, that's good. You know, get somebody who actually knows about the game. I'm available if you want it. There's my name right on the screen, uh, and uh, and make sure they go through the script and go, yeah, this works, or yeah, this part doesn't work. I don't know where you got this from. Get rid of that. You know, or this character wouldn't do this, or you know, and do more than it, like you said, expand on the story. Let's see what, because we never, outside of a few little voiceovers and a couple little things, we never really understand why the Knights Templar, which were a real group historically, by the way. That's the other thing about this game and this franchise that's big, is they always drew on real events that actually occurred in history, surrounded by real people that actually existed in history. So in that sense, I mean, yeah, it's going to be fictionalized, but there's a lot for them to pull on there, you know.
Okay. Anything else to add, Ham?
Oh no, I'm all set.
Well, I think we pretty much covered all the topics for tonight. So, Ham, go ahead and tell people where they can find you.
Yeah. I've been here on Thursdays, which has been pretty nice, pretty chill. But as for like my own channel and whatnot, TSWS Gaming is where I do all of my other content. And you can find me there every Wednesday and Friday, consistently. And sometimes I pop on and do like game stuff. So that's where you can find me over there. Recently went and seen the Spider-Man, or not Spider-Man, Superman movie with the father-in-law. That was awesome. Also got the chance to I talked about this a little while ago, but went and seen Master Chief and Cortana a couple weeks ago at Fan Expo, and I'm hoping to get to some of these events upcoming within the next year. So I'm gonna keep busting my butt. But thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Paul, where can people find you when you're not eating your pineapple pizza?
You can find me on X as Cerebral Ball One. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Cerebral Paul. You can find me here on Thursdays, and on Fridays. You can find me Wasted with Wise. You can find me doing articles for lordsofgaming.net as well as for GQTV's website, and I've started putting out some video content as well. I've got a couple more that are coming out. I dropped an article today, like Carla mentioned earlier. I dropped for the review of whatever it was, that movie that I reviewed earlier.
Karate Kid. You
That's the
forgot
one.
already? You gave it a 9 and you
No.
forgot?
That's because I'm also working on Thunderbolts and one other one as well. So it's all kind of mushy in my head right now. And also, of course, Carlo is going to be at San Diego Comic Con next week. And if you're a Gundam fan and you're at San Diego Comic Con, they are doing some major 20th anniversaries for Gundam in San Diego. We put the I put the press release up on the website there earlier. So if you're interested in that, check that out. And enough with the pizza out of the Hilton. Holy crap. By the way, I was typing in, and I'll just say right now, Dreadpool, I'm going to be in Orlando in October, staying at a DoubleTree Hilton property. Don't know if they're going to have pizza. Don't know if I'm going to try it. So there you go. And pretty much that's where you can find me nowadays. So
Awesome. Well, everybody, you can find me on 4GQ TV. I got some more content to drop. We got some interviews with toy companies. We did get invited to the Gundam stuff that they're showing. I got invited to the panel for Toxic Avenger. I can't make the screening; it filled up, so we're going to cover the panel. We got invited to some other Hall H stuff that we're supposed to cover. Got to have an interview with Gwar, if you know the band. That's going to be a nice quick interview with them in costume. But stay tuned. We're going to be covering San Diego Comic-Con, and I'll try to give coverage every single day of the event on the channel. We're also working on a 24-hour 7 channel. I've built broadcast professional software on my own. So it's kind of, if you see the Twitch channel popping up and down, it's because we're testing it out. But anyway, thanks for dropping by, everybody who came in the stream, and hope to see you guys next week.